Hello, everyone. Hopefully you're just about coming in now, tuning in. Welcome. My name is Alex De Cata. Welcome to this webinar on wine on the virtual open house. The title is Level Up Your Wine Tasting Skills. And like I said, my name is Alex De Cata. I work for the WSET. Before we get into the topic of today, a little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to read it so I make sure I get it correct. Lots for you. Welcome to the live webinar. A little bit about the Wine and Spirit Education Trust. We're the world's leading provider of qualifications and courses in wines, spirits, beer, and sake. We have over 50 years of experience in designing and delivering education to trade professionals and consumer enthusiasts. Qualifications in over 70 countries with over 800 course providers. Oh, whoops, that's a typo. Over 600 course providers. If you're interested in finding out more, listen to what I'm going to say, but also go to wsetglobal.com. Just so you know, if you miss bits of this, if you come in late, if you have to go early, this webinar, like all of the webinars today, will be recorded and will be available tomorrow. So don't worry if you've missed anything. There will also be some opportunities to ask me some questions. Please put them in the Q&A box and we'll get to them at the end. There will also be a little bit of extra at the end as well. We'll be doing a couple of polls. It would be really good if we could get your feedback. There will also be a chance of a competition, but I'm not going to tell you about the competition now because where would be the fun of that? So if you can wait, and you'll hear more about that now. But now we're going to go back to talk about level up your wine tasting skills. So before I get into that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and what we're going to cover. 7 years ago, about 8 years ago, I'd been working in retail for 7 years in all times, off trade and on trade. But is that I really enjoyed informing people about alcohol and educating them. So I wanted to do more. So what did I do? As soon as I gained my WSET diploma, I wanted to work for the people that made that product. And here I am. I've been here working and I want to help as much as possible. And this is why we do it. So I help hopefully transform people's lives with WSET courses in the EMEA region. I specifically look after India, but I also help out with Africa as well and help a little bit with Switzerland. I have level 2 beer as well, level 2 spirits, level 3 sake, and level 4 wine. And I also have the diploma in wine. So I can also teach up to level 3. So I'm here to give you a bit of advice about what should be the best level really for you when it comes to your wine education with WSET. So today we're going to cover why invest in training, why choose WSET, how and what you will learn with WSET, crucially, which level is right for you, and then obviously arguably the most important bit, what are the next steps? How do you do this? As I said at the beginning, if you want any information, wsetglobal.com is your first port of call, or keep on listening to me as well. Okay, so to give you a bit of context about who we are, WSET has over 140,000 candidates annually. We have over 600 providers around the globe that give you the courses. We're represented in 70 markets. Our courses are done in 15 languages. So we speak your language if needs be. It doesn't have to be in English. We have 12 globally recognized qualifications. Those are in 4 streams. So as I've said before, wines, spirits, beers, and sake. And we were founded in 1969 with over 55 years of experience. You're looking to get into this industry. You're looking to find out more. You want to go with someone with the global recognition. Here we are. A picture like this tells 1,000 words. It shows you where we are based around the world, where lots of people do our courses. We speak the global language. You want a global perspective on the wine industry, on the spirits industry, on the beer industry, on the sake industry. Come to us. You will be in safe hands. That's all very well, but we were talking about why the benefits of training. And I wanted to outline a little bit about that. It's an investment that pays, be it for your own personal fun as a consumer enthusiast, of which there are many that do our courses, or if you are someone that is in charge of training at an organization, or if you're in charge of a hospitality school that wants to train people up, or if you are investing in yourself. The reasons should hopefully be apparent, but I'll go through them. With greater education You have the chance to increase profitability in a business. You know what's the good wine, you know what's the better wine, you know how to sell the wines. You improve customer service, and increasingly, I think that's something we can all agree on. Great customer service leads to people doing repeat business and coming back. If you have a knowledgeable person, they will come back to you and they will want to buy more. This is what we give you. We give you that confidence to be able to do that. And likewise, at the end, it says we raise self-esteem. That's linked to that because basically it gives people that confidence to be able to sell and to think, I'm really good at what I'm doing and I'm doing it better because of this training. It also improves staff retention. If you're a place that offers our training, people go, this person is investing in me. I want to give back. I want to learn more. I want to go to the next level. And finally, it increases productivity. It gives people that ability to keep going. So I think we can talk about why the benefits of training are there, but why specifically WSET? What is it that the WSET way does? Well, there are many sections to this, and I'll start with some of the key bits. There's a clear beginner to expert development pathway, of which I will tell you more. So for example, you can go with level 1 wine, you go from level 1 all the way up to level 4. It will a globally relevant, brand neutral product. We are known, as I said, we are covered, we are taught in over 70 markets around the world. WSET is a brand that is recognized within the trade. We are crucially brand neutral. We will not say that you must use X product only. We will not say that Y product is the best in the business for no reason at all. We give you the tools to be able to make an assessment in an as objective a manner as possible. That's why everyone trusts us. It's a trademarked approach to building tasting skills. We talk about, you may have heard of the SAT, the systematic approach to tasting. That's our way of assessing the wines or spirits or any other samples in order to kind of inform the theory that we're teaching. It's an interactive and inspiring learning experience. Go to wsetglobal.com for further information on exactly how interactive and inspiring. All I'll tell you is you can have in-person classes, you can have online classes, or you can even have it virtually like this. There are lots of options. We can normally package it in a different way so that it suits your lifestyle choice as well. It's also a recognized qualification. Now, we're regulated in the UK by Ofqual. Ofqual means a lot, the regulation body in the UK. But from a global perspective, it just knows that it's a recognized qualification that's held to certain standards. And so you can have peace of mind that what you're learning is to be believed. So hopefully that's given you an idea of why training and why specifically WSET training. But if you've made that decision, how are you going to decide, or how is it that they exactly teach this wine training for WSET? Well, as I talked about, there's a progressive learning pathway, and it's a skills-based approach to education. I'm focusing here on wine, where there are other webinars throughout the day which will cover beer, sake, and spirits. So we have from level 1 to level 4, and again, one wants to quote to make sure it's the right, we give you the right information. But essentially, what we have is we have level 1 is explore, level 2 is understand, level 3 is explain, and level 4 is analyze. Now, levels 1 and 2 focus on remembering and understanding. They build foundational wine knowledge and terminology. Level 3 is more about applying and analyzing. Explain. So you enhance your tasting skills and theoretical understanding. At level 4, which is the diploma, it's about evaluating and creating through advanced assessments, case studies, and presentations. They are all offering different skills, teaching different skills. To give you an example, I think it's best if we take something that is represented at all 4 levels of wine. If we took at the wine course, we look at port. So at level 1, if we take port, the fortified drink, obviously from Porto, the key word at level 1 is to know. So students need to know that port is a fortified style of wine that is typically red, full-bodied, with high tannins and black fruit flavors. Now, level 2, the key word is to understand. Students need to be able to know and understand the differences in ruby and tawny. Therefore, they show their understanding by describing and comparing these styles. Level 3, as I said, the key word is explain, and the students need to be able to know and describe the various styles of port. And therefore, they will need to explain how the natural and human factors impact each of these styles. At level 3, we're looking at the winery, we're looking at the vineyard and how it impacts style. Those are how we are at every level. But exactly how do we do this? Now, this gets us on to something that's really important for WSET, the WSET way, as it were, the DNA of WSET education. So we talk often about tasting skills and theory skills, and both of them are really important, and they work together in WSET to create a better outcome. So if I give you the example of wine, we can take our sample and we can find a deep ruby color, ripe fruit aromas, spicy flavors, high acidity, and long finish. Now, we don't look at that separately. We're able to then use our knowledge of theory to draw certain conclusions. What do I mean by this? The deep ruby color could suggest a thick-skinned grape. The ripe fruit aromas could suggest a warm climate. The spicy flavor might well suggest use of new oak. High acidity, it could be a high acid variety. Long finish could suggest high quality grapes. What happens is the tasting skills and theoretical knowledge combine together to give you a better understanding. That is the WSET way. I've given you wine examples, but this principle goes throughout. You will find it with our spirits course, you will find it with our beer course, you will find it with our sake course. It's what makes it so fundamental. And it's what makes people coming back for more, to understand the link between the theory and the tasting. It's what makes it a practical skill-based course. So this is the how, and now we're going to get to a little bit more about the levels, what's involved in the levels, and which level might be right for you when it comes to our wine education. So again, let me stress, I'm just doing an overview now. There is a lot more, there's an opportunity for questions at the end. There is also more information to be found at wsetglobal.com. You can take your time, you can find out all the information about where to do the courses, and again, to find out which was Alex talking about when he said the level 1 and was the level 2. All that information can be found on wsetglobal.com. So level 1, award in wine, the key thing is you explore the main types and styles of wine through sight, smell, and taste. You learn the essentials of wine production. You gain the basic skills to describe wines. You learn how to serve and store wines optimally and discover the principles of food and wine pairing. There's about 6 hours of guided learning in person or online with a WSET course provider. And the exam, there's a closed book exam of 30 multiple choice. Now, you're not tested on your tasting, but if you're having an in-person class, you will straight away be doing samples. And if you're doing the online, you will straight away have suggestions for samples as well. So from that very beginning, we're trying to incorporate the option of having tasting and letting it inform your theory because it is so important. Level 2 is very much, remember we were talking about the keyword being describe. This is where you start learning about the grapes, especially. So you learn the characteristics of 30 different grape varieties. You discover the style and quality of wines from over 70 geographical indications. So yes, there will be ones from France, there will be ones from Italy, there will be ones from Spain, but we're also covering all the other key regions around the world as well. You gain an understanding of the factors that impact style and quality. You explore the production of fortified and sparkling wines, and you learn how to taste and describe wines with confidence. This is where that systematic approach to tasting, the SAT, really comes into its own, and you start learning some really fun things with it. The delivery time here is 28 hours of study. That's 16 hours in the classroom, or guided learning, shall we say. And there's also the other you have to do on your own with the book or online. The WSET course provider can help and support and give you information about how best to structure the course, and they'll give you options that they have. The exam is a closed book exam of 50 multiple choice questions. Level 3, remember we were talking about explain. So this is where we're looking at the options that are done in the winery, the options that are made in the vineyard, and how they have a significant effect on style and quality. So you gain a deep and wide-reaching product knowledge. You explore the wine production factors in detail. You learn to confidently explain concepts, you develop your ability to taste wines, and you demonstrate your expertise with an advanced qualification. A lot of the skills you learn at level 3 are transferable skills. Yes, we're teaching you, and it happens to be about wine, but these are the kind of analytical skills that can be used everywhere. It's what makes level 3 such a compelling choice. It's 84 hours of study. So that's 30 hours of guided learning in a classroom. It can be split over about 5 to 6 days. But otherwise it can be packaged in different ways as well. It's the assessment. This is where you first get assessed on your tasting skills. So there's a 50 multiple choice questions, a paper of short written answers, and there's a blind tasting of 2 samples. Finally, level 4, not for the faint-hearted. Bear in mind, level 1, we were talking about 6 hours, takes about a day, yeah? So this one is 500 hours of study, including 116 hours of guided learning. We tend to do it over 2 years. There are plenty of options globally around the world to do the diploma as well. You could do it with a WSET school in London, for example, but there are plenty of options around the world as well who offer incredible quality as well. For more information about our providers, like I said, wsetglobal.com. This is really for the specialists. You'll learn a specialist understanding of wine production and business factors that influence the style, quality, and price. And you'll acquire extensive product knowledge across still, sparkling, and fortified wines. And you'll develop high-level analytical skills that apply your understanding to real-life situations. I hope you do all 4 of them, really, to be honest. They're really good fun. I did. I found them fun. Right. So we talked about this, and I said about which level is right for you. We've got 2 factors here, and they're both really important for wine. We have the consumer enthusiast, self-funded, and we also have the trade and various sectors in the trade. WSET is good for both. It's a flexible course like that. And I think with wine, it's very much a kind of 50-50 split in terms of who does it. In spirits, for example, we tend to go more with the trade. In wine, we find that people like to fund themselves to do these courses. So I want to deal with the consumer enthusiast. Is really up to them. We suggest starting level 1 and level 2 can be beginner courses. It's really what's up to you. And then you go as far as you want to go, really, to be honest. There are obviously financial considerations. Information for that can be found, obviously, wsetglobal.com. You can find the information about the providers, and they will have the prices. But I wanted to kind of go about specific examples for the trade, because there are some options there, really, about where you can go. So, for example, you can be helping producers. We've got examples here. Producers, retailers, importer distributors, and hospitality. So producers, we can help them understand where their products fit in the global market. We can help them develop strong tourism and hospitality offerings and understand drinks of all styles and quality levels. The retailers, my background, for example, how I got into WSET, you can help them make profitable, tailored recommendations. Don't buy this. Crianza, Rioja, why don't you try the Gran Reserva, which you can sell for a little bit more money? You know, it is what it is. It's a business. You describe how a drink tastes and tell its story. You provide exceptional experiences to savvy shoppers. For importer distributors, you can help upskill the teams across the supply chain, supply the best drinks at the best prices, and offer training as a service to customers. Hospitality groups, hospitality schools. That's the thing. With hospitality schools, you're training the future people who will be offering this, so it can really lead to lots of options. But within all these different sectors, and again, I want to get this absolutely right, there are certain levels which might be better than others. So to give you a particular example, hospitality, level 1, think about for those who are starting careers. Think about those who are the first point of contact you enter into an establishment, and they're the ones there. It's so important that they can be able to say more than this is a red wine, this is a white wine. You know, a little bit more makes a massive difference, and level 1 gives you that and gives you that confidence. In hospitality, level 2 would be maybe then for the team leaders, the bartenders, a waiter, a publican, or licensee. It's also for those ones that did really well at level 1, obviously, to then keep going with their career, to find out a little bit more, to find out about the particular grapes, rather than just about the elements, about, you know, the structure. Level 1 will give you, oh, I've learned about acidity, I've learned about body, but level 2 will start talking about, oh, but okay, so if you have it a Sauvignon Blanc, it's got high acidity and it's good with this. But if you know, and then you start learning about why Chardonnay is different. And that gives you that extra complexity. Level 3, again, in hospitality is when it starts getting specialists. So that's for the sommeliers, the chefs, the restaurant managers, if there are any chefs out there, you are the people with the best palates, you are the best students. I'm going to be biased, I'm going to say it. Don't quote me on that. But that's why it's so important for you, because you understand the importance of balance. Level with retail, it's different again. So here are some ideas and some suggestions for those of you out there that are looking to invest in WSET. You want to get your information from wsetglobal.com, but you also need to know which is the best level for me. So retail, level 1 is good for the trainees who've just started. So the sales assistants, the personnel across company or IT. So maybe the people who are invaluable, crucial to the company, but don't directly work with wine. Level 1 gives them a really good grounding. Maybe the people in finance, maybe the people in HR don't necessarily directly deal with wine, but it's important for them to know. And dare I say it, it's a little bit of fun to do a course as well. At retail for level 2, you could think about the trainee managers. You could think about assistant managers, telesales personnel to give them that depth of knowledge to sell what they're doing, inventory managers as well. Level 3, like I said, the specialist course. We're talking about the people who have progressed from level 2. We're talking about wine buyers. We're talking about the shop manager, brand managers, event managers, education training managers. Well, one would hope the education managers might have gone a little bit higher, but that's a really good start for them. Import distribution, level 1 again, maybe the ones that aren't directly involved in the selling of the wine, but they really need to know. It'd be really helpful to know what the company's doing. The delivery drivers, the logistics, personnel across organization, HR, finance. Level 2 would be events personnel again, customer service teams, supply chain. And level 3 again, like I said before with the last one, wine buyers, shop managers, key account managers. It crosses over really, to be honest. But there's a little bit of everything for everyone, and that's not a helpful thing to say, but it is. It's quite often it's quite good to start at level 1 and 2, but sometimes if you're pushed for time, certain levels will perform a particular function for you. And if you need to know more, ask me questions, look at wsetglobal.com, talk to particular providers from which you can find from our website, and they're always happy to give you more specific examples as well. Okay, so if you want to find out more, then you really haven't been listening, because I've said I must have said the website at least 12 times. But you can also scan this QR code and find out a lot more as well. But at this point, what I'd like to say, my colleague Joe might get involved as well, but what I'd like to say is we have a competition coming up, but I won't tell you about that yet. What I will tell you about is we have a couple of polls, and it would be really good if you could fill in these polls as well. We're going to get onto the question and answers soon, but if those polls will be released, and you can answer that, and that'll be really helpful as well. What I've also asked is in the chat will be added a link to a video. Now, this is a project that we did in Angola with two great partners of ours, SOGRAP and the Gerard Basset Foundation. It's a very short, if you speak Portuguese, you're at a considerable advantage, but there are English subtitles. It's important to know that what we do is we provide training to lots of people, but we also are a charitable trust, and we do charitable initiatives. We were able here to train 15 waiters at level 1 in Portuguese, and this is just some of their reflections. And it's one of the brilliant things of working for WSET and doing what we do. It genuinely can have a transformational effect in the industry of where you are. So hopefully you have time to look at that video, if not now, a little bit later. It really is the highlight of my year working here, as well as presenting and things like this. And once we do the poll, I think what we'll do is I will, let's have a look. See if I can find the question and answer box. Okay. This will be where I am. The wonders of technology whilst people are watching me. Bear with me. I can't seem to find the question and answer box. Let's have a look. Here we go. So I've got a chat. It's painful to watch. I've got the chat box. Let's have a look. No, I can't find the. I can't.
It should be just it's sort of to the left on your bottom on your panel, Alex. If it's easier, you might find it easier to
There we
start.
go.
There you go. Yeah, and you can
Yeah,
reshare your
let's have it.
slides afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So that was Joe, by the way. Thanks, Joe. Okay, so let's go at the top. Sandra Mevin. Hi, Sandra. I passed level 3 in wine last year in Germany. I'm interested in level 4 diploma. Level 4 also offered in the German language. Interesting question. Uh, the WSET diploma is only offered in English, and it is offered in various countries. What we can do is we could give you specific examples. The best place to look is the Where to Study page. So the nearest to German, there is a German provider. There is also an Austrian provider. There is also a Belgian provider, and there's also, say, for example, the provider in WST London as well. So there are lots of options nearby. It really depends. I don't need to tell you what bigger country you live in. So it depends whereabouts you are in Germany as to what is the best. I can guarantee all diploma providers will give you an exceptional experience. But in terms of pricing and in terms of how they structure the course, that will differ. So it's best in that respect to shop around. And I can assure you, all the providers will give you plenty of time to make your right decision. But yeah, you're right. It's the reality is it's so much content. It's only in English. When it comes to level 1, 2, and 3, it's available in lots of other ones as well. Okay, so Jose Alberto Zorrilla Tejada. Hola, he tratado de conseguir level 2 online. Soy de República Dominicana. Oh, it rarely does one get the chance to humble brag in such a public sphere. But yeah, so this Spanish, he's achieved level 2 online, and he's from República Dominicana. That's fantastic. If you want to do more, again, the best place is to look on where to study to find the options to do that. I must say, I'm based in London. I talked about the EMEA. We are in 70 countries. We have a team based in the Americas. We have a team based in China. We have a team based in APAC. So honestly, we're on your time zone. We're in your language. There will be options. You don't have to fly to London. Laura, what is WSET training and study path to become a sommelier? It's interesting, really, to be honest. I think sommelier is such a wide-ranging term. So obviously, it goes from something such as MS, Master Sommelier, which is an incredibly hard position to take, and I take my hat off to those people. But then equally, it can cover something from a part-time person right up to that expert. So I would suggest to you, it really depends. When you're starting to get serious about taking wine as a profession, I would say that you should start at level 2 and then take it to level 3. At level 3, you might want to make a decision about whether you want to do diploma as well. But these will give you the elements of the tasting, because I think as a sommelier, obviously what's vital is you have that theory and that background. And what we give you is that global outlook. And it's not just in wine. If you were to do spirits and beer and sake, it's the same. We give you a global outlook. But the tasting becomes really serious at level 3. What I will say is that all information is good. I'm only paid to recommend WSET, obviously, but what is different is that the way we do the systematic approach to tasting, it's the way we taste. So the calibration may be different. So that's the only thing you have to look about. If you're going to then get a different qualification, where we may have a 3-grade scale, someone else might do 5, for example. No one's right, no one's wrong. We just do it differently. But for you, I would say, if you want to do WSET, and I hope you do, definitely do level 3 and then take it from there. Munesh, again, I've completed level 2. How much memorization is needed for level 3 compared to level 2? Good. Factual recall. There is still always factual recall. So if this is making me remember, but there are 3 parts to the level 3 exam. One of them is short written answers. Another one is the tasting, and the other one is multiple choice. I'd say multiple choice is kind of factual recall in that respect. So it still exists, but there's a lot more to do. The short written answers tends to be the most challenging of level 3, and it really has to be a little bit more coherent. It's not just factual recall, which is a skill in itself, but a very different skill. With the short written answers, you have to kind of build on the knowledge and construct certain answers. Don't worry though, there's plenty of support with it. Level 3, it's a jump, but it's very doable. tasting skills and tasting skills and test in level 3. The best thing is to go to WSETglobal.com, and that'll give you a lot of information about level 3. But basically, what you have to do for the tasting, you'll probably get a red wine and a white wine. Obviously, do it the other way around. White wine first, and you basically have the systematic approach to tasting, which we call the SAT. You basically have to mark the wine as according to that. Now, obviously, I didn't cover the SAT in this presentation, but you'll be given plenty of practice beforehand on your course, and you basically have to produce a really good answer. The short written answer, it's best to have a look and see that information, and the multiple choice is just it's a multiple choice. It's, it is what it is. Factual recall. Okay, Mujer, apologies, obviously, if I'm pronouncing in my rather Anglo-Saxon way, if I'm pronouncing your names incorrectly. I just finished level 3 with merit. That's fantastic. That's better than I did, probably. I would like to continue with level 4. Yeah. However, the nearest destination available is Greece, which offers space only by April 2026. Would you please advise if there are any countries near to Turkey where I can continue with level 4? Well, I'll give you several answers here. One, if you were to go with our Greek providers, they are exceptional. They've been doing this for a very long time, WSBC. You would be in incredibly, incredibly safe hands, and they would look after you. It's also the nearest provider of diploma to Turkey. Now, I happen to manage Turkey for the WSET, and I know we have some incredible APPs there. But for diploma, your nearest, as the crow flies, in terms of pure distance, the nearest one is Athens for WSBC, and they are a very experienced provider. Okay, so Suzanne, do you have any additional reading or listening that you would recommend for in between or in the lead up to courses? I've completed level 2 and would be keen to start level 3 soon. Let me actually, instead of me like doing my sales thing and blathering, let me give you a specific answer. So Suzanne, we'll try and get your details. My colleague Joe will go there, and I can just give you an example. I'll talk to our product team to give you an exact one. Normally, what we do is, I think people are reading around the topic, but people just go straight on to level 3. But it's a decent question, and let me get you a decent answer. Caroline, for wines you need to start at level 1. So how many wines? So this depends. If you're doing online classroom, for example, we suggest a list of wines, and you can, for that information, again, go to WSETglobal.com. If you were doing it in person, they normally do about 6 wines. The key thing with level 1 is typicity. What do I mean by that is you will show a Shiraz or a Cabernet or a Pinot Grigio or a Sauvignon Blanc. So the Sauvignon Blanc, we don't say it has to come from New Zealand or Chile or France, as long as it tastes like Sauvignon Blanc. So as long as it's got that high acid, gooseberry, depending on maybe sometimes gooseberry, sometimes tropical fruit, whatever. But it means that, for example, I work with a lot of incredible course providers in India, and they're able to use Indian Sauvignon Blanc, Indian Cabernet Sauvignon. It's only at level 2 when we start kind of specifying particular, this Cabernet Franc has to come from the Loire, or this blah blah has to come from yada yada. I hope that's answered it. I've probably gone around the question and started answering something I preferred, but yeah, it's six wines at level 1. Earl, please provide an example of unguided learning. Yeah, I used the term, didn't I? So I actually come up with it. Basically, what we mean when I was giving you that specific example, I'll go on to something separate afterwards, Earl, but what I meant by that is, so level 2, say 28 hours, 16 is in the classroom, basically, and the rest is you're reading the book yourself. So how you do that? You can read the book on a unicycle, you can read the book in a coffee shop, you can read the book whilst you're trying to feed your kids, but that's kind of up to you. And that's what it means by unguided. Basically, you're just reading the book. So we normally suggest, obviously, for level 2, all the providers will give you the book well in advance, so that now we're all adults here. So if you don't read it, so be it. But they won't go through everything. They will have expected you to have read it in advance. So that's all unguided meant by that, really, because there's another topic about the difference between how you learn with an online classroom and how you learn in an in-person classroom, but that's a bigger topic. Tamar, it sounds like you don't have to test out of level 1 or 2. You could just choose to enroll level 3. Not really right. So basically 1 and 2 are beginner courses. So you could jump in at 1 and 2. Level 3, technically, and technically is doing a lot of, as I would say, heavy lifting. You could, but I strongly recommend that you start at least at level 2, and I'll give you the reason. Basically, at level 2 is when you learn the systematic approach to tasting, the particular way that we calibrate our tasting. So it gives you the grounding and the confidence to be then do the higher levels. If you don't have that, you're going cold, and even though you've tried loads of wines, perhaps on a different type of course, you won't know how we calibrate. And by that, just to be clear, so if we've got a 3-point score saying something is, I don't want to use our ones, but I want to use good, medium, bad, whatever. If someone else has got a 5 category one, then you don't know how to do it. Whereas if you've already been using our particular way of calibrating, it just becomes a lot easier to do the level 3. And that's why level 2 is so vital to doing level 3. Level 2 is also our most popular course, so you'd be missing out. That would be my suggestion, because quite frankly, level 3 is an investment of time and money. And you want to be sure that if it's your money, especially, you want to be sure that you're going to have a good chance of passing, I would say. Mattia Passinetti, hello, I have a sommelier diploma from ICE, Italian Sommelier Association. Should I start back from level 2 or I can start from a high level? Secondo me, Mattia, a livello 2 or 3, I think, because level 1 is too simple for you, I think, because you've already got a little bit of experience. I think level 1 will be really exciting. The main difference, I think, obviously ICE, for those that don't know, is a sommelier course, and it's in Italy, one of the great sommelier courses that they have in Italian. But a lot of the focus will be maybe on Italian products and just on the peninsula, whereas we'll give you that global perspective. And the global perspective begins at level 1 and goes on from there. So there will be, so it's a reductive example, but you might have incredible knowledge about Soave and about Policella, but maybe not so much about Martinborough, or, you know, I can't think of the second one now, but Martinborough or Limari in Chile. But I would say, depending how high you've gone, I'd say level 2 maybe is only the one you need to start at. And the UK Saturday option requires 2 days to complete. If you live outside London, is the day release option open to everyone? Yeah, it's open. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whatever works for you, to be honest. I would look at, yeah, I think it's not a problem. I'm assuming if you're talking about going into London, I should stress that we have lots of providers in London who offer great courses, and all of them will have lots of options. Again, the best place to get to them, either just type in WSET courses or go to wsetglobal.com and go via the where to study page there. If you happen to be referring specifically to the WSET School London, talk to them directly and they'll give you options again. But every other open provider in London will also give you lots of options as well. Brandon, how beneficial do you feel a WSET certification would be for a passionate wine travel blogger? Which level do you suggest? Level 2, always level 2. Level 2 is where you learn about the grapes. The quickest it could be done is in 2.5 days, and it really gives you the idea of describing. Level 2 is imagine yourself. Now I'm going to assume I'm a little bit older, Brandon, and I'm imagining myself like you're picking up a wine bottle and you look at the back and you're just kind of casually looking at the label and trying, you know, that's level 2. It's about describe. Level 3 is fun as well, but it gets into the explaining element and getting into that a bit more. Level 2 it really gives you that grounding. You learn a lot about grapes. Now, especially if you like Italian grapes, it's got a lot on that, but it gives you that grounding. That sounds really good. I hope you do that, Brandon. I hope it really helps. Claudia, what if we want to fly to London and take the WSET? Come, if you've got the money, come, please. If you've got your own plane, come. I mean, why not? What's stopping you? Come now. I mean, I could set you up with a course straight away. No, but there's lots of options to do that, really, to be honest. Not a problem at all. Eva, is there any case I can start straight from level 3? I got a graduation in viticulture and enology in 2012. I've been working in the wine business ever since. Thanks in advance, Eva. So you might have heard the answer earlier, so I'll try and be quicker. It's more about the calibration of, you have to take a tasting test at level 3, and the calibration for how we do this tasting is really learned at level 2. If you were to jump in at level 3, it sounds like you may well have a good grasp on the theory, but it might be the tasting that might be a bit of a problem. Now, again, what I would also suggest is find out your local provider. So I could be making a massive jump here because you've got an Italian surname. But let's say, for example, you could go, if you happen to be in Italy, there would be loads of great providers. Talk to the provider, and they might give you a specific example of how best to get to that position. The easiest way is to do a level 2. I realize there's money involved there, but talk to the provider and see what they suggest as well. Alessio, 25 years old, done level 2. Would you recommend me to take some time to try different wines from around the world before attempting level 3? Look, I'm going to put to one side the financial aspects because I'll leave that to you, Alessio. But I would just go straight into level 3. That's where we're going to teach you about the wines. And different providers of our courses will do different wines. There is a great list of wine, about 85 for level 3. So you'll be trying them. You should already be trying wines anyway and enjoying them. But you can be guaranteed that that's part of the, if you do level 3 in a classroom situation, the provider will give you lots and lots of wines to try. If you do it with an online course, we will suggest wines that you can go out and get. So either way, you'll be having some great wines. Do the certifications expire? No. Do they need to be renewed? No. So some of you maybe a long time ago might have done like me, the level 3 in wines and spirits, it was called. It was no such thing. It was a wine course with a little bit of spirits apologetically put on. That's why we invented a whole spirits course. In that case, the level 3 wines is different from the level 3 wines and spirits, but nothing expires, no certification is needed, nothing different. So if you pass, and it's great. Put it on your CV. It's great. Joanne, which vineyard do you go to? Are the course prices on the website? Oh, I thought you were asking me personally. Well, I went for fun. It's the vineyards. If you are thinking of a course that happens at a WSET school London, you'd have to check with them. When I've helped them out in the past, they've gone to Denby's in Dorking, but this is hyper specific, very UK specific. So for those of you connected from somewhere else, you might not know what I'm referring to, but talk to the particular provider and they'll tell you where they go. And the course prices, yes, the course prices for the WSET School London are on their section of the website. The course prices for all our other providers will also be there. And I stress, just get in contact with them. They will be more than happy to give you the information. Alessandro, yeah, through without level 2, I would strongly suggest doing level 2 first for the reasons given before. Umi John, good evening, Mr. Alex. Evening to you as well. I recently finished my level 1 in wines. I want to be a sommelier. Would you recommend also to take spirits? In my opinion, a good sommelier should know a little bit about spirits. Absolutely. Yeah, I do it as well. It's if it comes down to you, like, is it a choice between doing level 2 wines or branching out and do level 1 spirits? I think I'm here to talk about wines, but I think increasingly in a lot of markets, the spirits market is colossal as well. So it's whatever's important for your career choices, but I think it would give you the level 1 spirits course. And I believe my colleague Charlie was talking about it earlier. I urge you to watch his video. He is always entertaining. I think it would be a good idea to do both. Yeah, absolutely. Enrique, I took the level 3 course in Puerto Rico, but missed to present due to sickness. How can I take the exam? Oh, good question. I would talk to the provider. Sorry, I don't know the exact circumstances, but there is a particular process that the course provider will have to go through to try and resolve that. And if there's any issues, obviously you can talk to WSET separately as well. Enrique, if there are any problems, just reach out to us, but I'm sure the provider will help you as well. We all really want to help. So best of luck with that. Sarah, can I take level 4 fully remotely? Hard to find L4 providers in my area outside Toronto. Interesting question. Sarah, I hope actually we might be able to take your details and talk to you, send you an information about options in Canada. I'm fully aware that Canada is not like saying just pop to the other end like you would in Belgium, but there are options being actively looked at. You can take a remote option. So for example, I know that WineWise in Belgium and for example, the London School, they can do it in different blocks so that your travel is reduced. But the reality is that you always have to do kind of led tastings. So that's the issue there. But like I say, Sarah, hopefully we can somehow get your details. There are options in Canada. We're actively working on that. Rodrigo, hi, how much time do I have to do level 4? We normally do it over 2 years. Most of the providers do it in 2 years. I literally said it about half an hour ago and I can't remember, but it's about 500 hours of work. It's a lot of study. You basically get out what you put in. So there's a lot of self-study that you have to read up about. It's not for the faint-hearted, but it's incredibly fun. So people have done it in a year, but I would personally suggest to go for the courses that do take it in 2. It's not for money. It's a more rational approach. Lashonda, how does CSW certification through Society of Wine Educators compare? Oh, I don't know. And it's not that I'm not trying to be difficult. I can't remember which one is equivalent. There will be websites that suggest that. I think a lot of this, and I truly believe there's a desire to be complementary. I think here there will be crossover, but with all these courses, it's really about it's your money. Have a look around and see what where you think you're going to have a better experience. I know that the WSET will give you a great experience at all levels, and all the providers will as well. But ultimately, it's a really important decision you have to make with your own money. But yeah, I'm going to go away now and find out myself how to compare them. But yeah, so I can be more help. Laurie, I live in a state where Saudi doesn't allow me wine shipments. That's never was a true word said, sadly. Delaware, yeah, I'm considering level 2. I worked at a winery in Virginia for 5 years. Will I be able to easily access the wine supply for the testing at level 2 by going to a local wine supplier? So as you can tell from my accent, I probably am not the best person to ask about this particular one. I would say talk to the course provider. We might be able to get directly in touch with you, but the course providers there would really be able to help with that, Laurie. I certainly don't want to suggest something that would break any laws. Eleri, I passed my level 3 15 years ago. Fantastic. Sounds about the same for me, and would like to do level 4. Shall I redo level 3? No, I wouldn't do redo level 3. You could read the book. So what's happened? You would have done the level 3 wines and spirits. So there is the level 3 wines, and it's a different course, so you could spend that. Now, if you're in the UK, which I'm guessing you might be, you might forgive me if you're not. It's if you want to spend what it is, like maybe over about 1,000, between 800 and 1,000 pounds. It's up to you. There is no need. You've already done the level 3 and you've passed it. But yeah, you might be quote unquote a bit rusty in terms of what's changed, and so the book might be an interesting. The level 3 book might be, excuse me, might be an interesting thing to read in advance. Hope that helps. I'm just about to have a glass of water. Okay, so do we receive our test results back along with the answers we may have answered incorrectly?
Alex, sorry, Alex. You appear to have just lost your sounds in the last sort of 30 seconds. Doesn't look like you're on mute. I'm not sure if your headphones disconnected or.
Is it working now?
Oh, yeah, working now. Thank you.
Okay, so Eileen, yeah, basically you get your results back and you get a breakdown of the results, but you don't get the exact ones, I'm afraid, because we recycled the question. I know that's not helpful, but if you talk to your provider, they'll give you information on how to ask for more feedback if you want to, and whether that's worth it in your situation. I would argue feedback on a multiple choice. That's marked through an automated machine. It's not needed. But for the short written answers at level 3, it might prove informative. It's whether you want to spend the money. Mark, good afternoon, Alex. Could you kindly provide or inform me how to find a course provider in Italy? Email address of one of your colleagues. Oh, really? To find the providers, unable to contact me and I'll put you in touch. So, De Cata at WSETglobal.com, and I'll put you in touch. My colleague, her name is Mathilde Subon. Um, but rather than me kind of spell her name, it just send it to mine, which is up there somewhere. There are plenty of providers in Italy, plenty of very good providers. It really depends where you are on the peninsula as to where we suggest to go. And yeah, I hope you enjoy that. Oh, another question. Yeah, hello. If I remember, there's an assessment at level 4 diploma level. How does this work? Oof, like the level 4 assessment. That's quite a long question. It's probably the best thing for rather than me trying to remember. I would go to if you go to the specification. So if you go to wsetglobal.com and then go to qualifications and go to the level 4 diploma, that will give you a lot of the information. And if you scroll down to the very bottom, there's a PDF which gives you the specification, and that's a proper deep dive if you want to go geek out on the exact breakdown as well. And then in terms of what time of year you do it and all that, when you get to your diploma provider, there's a particular time of the year that they set it out. And that's where they might do it slightly different depending on who you do it with. And that's why it's better to ask those people, because I can only give you a generic answer. Rui Magro, can I do level 2 skipping 1? Yes. Yeah, you can skip level 1. I think you'd be missing out on a lot, but it's your money. They're both designed so they can be picked up as beginners. Remember what I said before, level 1 is kind of know, factory recall, level 2 is describe. If it helps, that idea of like picking up 2 wine bottles, looking at the back of the label, comparing them both, and being able to kind of talk about them. I wouldn't, if you can possibly, I wouldn't skip level 2 to do level 3 for the reasons I've shared before. But yeah, that's great. It looks like there's been quite a few questions. So thank you very much. I wanted to say there is, if there's more questions coming, oh, hold on, aspetta. Mark, no problem, Mark. It's the Italian APPs will look after you. They're fantastic. I would say, what next is competition time. Just scan this code, so it's different from the other code, and be in the draw to win a level 1 course, online or in person at the WSET School London. So in person, if you're in the UK, that's a really good option. Online, you could be anywhere, quite frankly, and do it with them. But if you want to know more, go there. I think that's me done. Guys, thank you so much. This will be recorded if you want to look at it again. At about 4 o'clock, I believe my colleague Mirella Amato is doing a topic on beer. Please tune in. There is little to know about beer that Mirella doesn't know. You will be in very safe hands, very informative hands. But otherwise, thanks a lot and see you next time.